Look what's arrived in the post. It's an art supplies mystery box from Upcrate. Upcrate is a German subscription company or setup, and they send out mystery supplies every month if you subscribe. They've very kindly sent one to me, so I am intrigued to see what's inside. So it's number 54. Nice little googly eyes. Let's open it up. First thing I'll say is I'm really not sure about subscription boxes. I've only seen one before and I wasn't overly impressed. So I'm really intrigued to see what this is like and see whether it's something I would consider buying for myself or recommending to other people. It's a little bit smaller than I was anticipating, but diamonds come in small packages. Let's take things out. The crate itself is sturdy. It all arrived, well, I was going to say undamaged, but nothing inside is damaged, which is the important things. Oh, there are little sort of, not stickers, but things you can take off and use, whatever. So we have a sheet of stickers, oranges. We have a little print, the wildest peaches, and some information about the artists of the month. This is February 24, so that's a collective of 3 women artists in Germany. Scan the QR code for an online magazine. We'll have a look at that. Looking back through the previous crates, they used to send out a physical magazine, but now it's digital. We've got oil paper, and then we've got a very nice little package. I always hate tearing tissue paper. I like to reuse it wherever I can. So we have some Van Gogh oil pastels, 12 of those. We've got a permanent marker, and we've got some little Conte chalk pastels and a stylus for scratching, I guess. That's the contents. Well, let's have a go at the QR code. QR code takes you to a page where it explains what you've got. And so pastels, they say how much they would cost. They give you a colour chart of all the pastels, the little Conte pastels. Again, they give you a chart of what things would cost. And then more about Live Art Club and tuition. Let's open everything up. I like Contes, I have to say. I'm really pleased this isn't a watercolour set because that's what I do all the time. So I think one of the big advantages of these subscriptions is that you will be sent all sorts of, can't open this, all sorts of media that you wouldn't usually use potentially, or if you're quite new to art, stuff that you've not heard of. Oh, aren't those pretty? Stuff you haven't tried. So it's a way of expanding your repertoire. Or if you're more established and you have got a particular medium that you love, so I love watercolour. If you could see behind me, everything is watercolour in this studio, but you might get stuck in a rut. So good to try other things. That's waterproof sort of fine liner, quite a big bullet nib. And let's look at this. So this is an oil painting pad. It's lovely in tiny fonts. It says dangerous product. And I'm thinking, really? It's a pad of paper. May cause explosions in creativity. Well, and it's made with green energy, open, independent and socially responsible brand with unique attitude to products, people and business. 230 grams per square metre, A5, 8 sheets, and it's got a sort of canvas texture to it. The QR code takes you to a recorded tutorial about how to use the new media that you've just received. Of course, you do not have to follow this in any shape or form, but if it's something that you're not familiar with, then it's always interesting to see how other artists might have used it, and it might prompt you with a few ideas just to get you going. Because funnily, I actually found it quite hard to get going because everything was new and I hadn't used it before. Is that funny? I suddenly think, I haven't a clue what to do. Their prompt is fruit. Am I feeling fruity? I don't know. Well, maybe the thing to do is just have a little play and see what happens. So they suggest using the chalk pastels first and blending them on the page. I think I am inspired by their stickers to do something orangey. So I'm laying down yellows and reds, and then I will blend and see what happens. If you don't like getting mucky, then you could use a paper stump or something to do the blending. But I like getting mucky. I don't feel happy unless I have got paint under my fingernails and smudges of charcoal on my nose. So I'm layering up now to get a richness of colour, and then I'll get rid of the dust. Let's pick out all those nice orangey colours as well. Right, I'm going to do a background stencil. Don't know, to make a bit of a pattern in the background. Don't know whether this will work, but hey, let's find out. How blendable are these pastels? Will they blend through the stencil or not? Never used chalk pastels and oil pastels before, so that is good because something new. And new is good because if you use new media, sometimes it inspires you back to your favourite media with new ideas, doesn't it? So see what that looks like. Now let's have a go at some sort of orange. Pastels go on the paper very nicely, as obviously you would hope. Some segments. They layer up. There's that scratchy thing that they gave us. Okay, that's quite nice because you scratch through to reveal the chalk pastels underneath. So these don't blend brilliantly. And then, what are we going to do with this pen? Sort of picking up the thick application of the oil pastel. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Doesn't really go over these very nicely. Let's just grab a piece of paper and clean that pen off. Yeah, I don't know that I would have ever chosen to put that over. the oil pastel, or indeed the chalk pastel, because it's sort of picking that up. Wonder how these, yeah, so the chalk pastels will not go back over the oil pastel. Get some purer colour in places. Don't like those little marks that I did there. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, not in a good way. When you go back over that marker with oil pastel, it moves. That's not very attractive, is it? Looks like a rotten. Yeah, it looks like the orange is rotting. And what I've learnt from that is that pen does not work well over these media, so I'm not quite sure why it was included in the kit. These go down really nicely on the oil paper because of the texture, I guess, and you've got some nice texture showing through. I like those. The pastels, I was really surprised they go over the chalk pastels, so that's good. Quite like that sort of sgraffito effect for getting a little bit of detail and coming back. So their monthly subscription is €24, which is about £20 or $25. And they send the box out, the mystery box out on the 15th of each month. So they are in Germany, so it arrives in a couple of days in Germany. Rest of Europe probably will take a week, and worldwide between 1 and 2 weeks, but they do send out worldwide. And I think for £20, if you are wanting to expand your repertoire, that's not a bad price actually. Say in this kit, I think maybe that's a bit odd. Not quite sure why we've got that, but every time you use media, you discover something new. So you can buy back crates. So say you saw this and you think, oh yeah, I fancy buying that. But then they are €36. And that seems quite a lot to me for what you've actually got. They do online challenges. So you get the stuff and you share your picture online along with the hashtag #upcratebattle, and they choose a winner and then you get a prize, which is nice. So there's quite a community of people using this. So if you're looking for an art subscription box, maybe you feel you're in a little bit of a creative rut, I think this looks like quite a nice package. While I'm here, I just thought I'd have a go at seeing how watercolour went over oil pastels. So these are meant to be sunflowers. I know, hard to tell, isn't it? Got some black watercolour here. And I'm just going to wash it over and see what happens. Don't even know how it'll go on top of this oil paper, because my theory is oil repels water. So we should, which we do, get this sort of effect. I could see myself using that in some sort of mixed media. It's that little scrapey thing. See how we can scrape through that watercolour as well. I really don't know, I am just playing. That's quite nice, isn't it? Do you know, when I saw this scrapey thing in the pack, I was like, really? It's a cocktail stick. But I quite like the effect of that. If you're a new artist and you want to experiment, or an established artist and feel like you're stuck in a rut, then a subscription box really could be the way forward. You certainly get a wide variety of media and you may find some really interesting combinations.